Hello, YouTube modeling community. This is Rusty Rotor. Oh, no, this is Rusty Rotor. And coming at you at a slight angle. All right. No mail. We do have some stuff coming, so probably next Monday. This Mental Monday, we've kind of touched base on it. I did a little part on it. I'm just kind of extending that, I guess. And that was, Matthew started it by, what inspires you to build, what inspires you to pick what you pick, so on and so forth. And I kind of covered the premises of it, just because it was during another video. So we're going to touch base on it a little bit more. I have a couple of vintage magazines. I've had these in my possession since they were brand new. These were released in 1972. And I have a slew of others. If you guys like this kind of stuff too, we can dabble into that a little bit. These were my, before the age of the internet and social media, these were my points of inspiration. These are how I picked a model. These are how I built the model. Back then, not to my knowledge, may have been, but I'm not aware of it. You didn't have like Slicks decals and all that. All you could do is hope that one of the modeling companies, put out a version of it, and you got the decals, and you could build it somewhat similar to the real car. My skills were not at all what they are now. I was subpar at best. I built some clean models back then, but it was just pretty much out of the box. And the ones that were mostly clean were ones I didn't even paint. I may have painted the interior, but I never painted the bodies. I just kind of got my grandfather's old turtle wax out and my dad's turtle wax, because that's what they both used, and put a coat of wax on it. And I saw that some hand buffing, I got a pretty good shine out of the kit plastic. So there was really no need. And then, of course, you get into the crazy color magazines, and you start seeing all these beautiful colors. Your heart goes dum, 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 and you start wanting to dabble in painting the bodies. And back then, it was brush painting. I never, wet sanded them out. Put another coat of paint on, sanded out till I got a nice smooth layer of paint. I never clear coated them or anything like that. You could definitely tell my stuff was brush painted. But, there's a few of them I did that turned out fairly nice. The paint leveled out pretty good. With the decals on them, it was really hard to tell. And those, that's a win. For back then anyways. And as magazines started getting more developed would be the word to say. They got, cameras got better. Guys took a little more pride in what they were, publicating, writing about, taking pictures of, and that's because real car enthusiasts got involved in that aspect of it. Your standard guy that comes out of college as a journalist or whatever they would consider themselves as would take a job with a magazine wherever they could get a job. That was the important thing: get a job, start making money. You got to take care of your family, or take care of yourself. And some of those guys just didn't really care. They weren't, devoted to what they were actually doing. And that slowly phased out when guys that were truly loved, the automotive world, everything about a car, from, the first nut and bolt to the last and everything in between. Then we truly started getting some great pictures, great information coming out, and a lot more of it. And those guys are the pioneers. They're the ones that made sure that, just as an example, like Butch Leal's Camaro, they're the ones that got involved. They went to the races. They took pictures of what was going on, everywhere, every aspect from the beginning to the end of the race, and who was racing, and the car and the engine, and try to get an interview with the driver or the pit crew, and what got you to this point, and it was all that the guys that had the internal drive to know for the knowledge to turn around and put it in a magazine for everybody out there to be able to see and get that information. So kudos to those guys, because if it's like anything else, nobody gives a crap, and it's just a job, and I just need to collect my paycheck, and here's some pictures, and this is what I got, type thing. I'm really glad that it evolved the way it did. The first magazine, kind of fold it back up here. Oop, okay. Is the Hot Rod Show World 1972 annual. I was there. I got this. That was a gift from my dad. You know, you walk around, you don't have a lot of money, so it's like, well, what can you do? Something to remember the show by. It was this. You know, not all the cars that were there were here in the magazine, but quite a bit of them were. I think we're going to start this one off at the zingers. It's got a fold-out page showing all the zingers. You guys can see that. You know, and of course, we all got these model kits came out. I had the Bug and the Vet, and you know, there's a few others. And I actually, that inspired me later in life, probably around 15, 16, that I drew them. And I have them over here. Oh, they're buried. We'll get them out another time and show them to you, of where I drew them. And, you know, because I was infatuated with them so much because I had these big engines sticking up out of them. And, you know, nothing really else different about them other than they weren't really real. But somebody built these things and put these real engines in them, and how cool they looked. And I got to later in life see some of these up close and personal, which gave me the second round of inspiration to actually draw them out. And then I got the model kits, and you know, that were available, and I built them. I do not have them in my collection anymore, which is sad. This magazine has got a lot of first ladies that were the models that would stand next to the dragsters. What's her name? The most famous one, the first lady of racing. There's an article in here on her. There's Bushlell's Duster, which we're really thinking heavily about building this one also. At least a few out of his race team. I was a kid when I went to California, so I don't remember anything about it. I don't think we saw any car shows while we were there, but I'm just distracted here, guys. I'm kind of looking at stuff to talk about. Yeah, these were like hot rod suspensions you could buy back then. All your components were like gassers, a coil-over rear suspension, rear brakes, you know, being disc brakes, your little rail frames with a 4 9-inch in them, your front like 32, 34 forward front suspensions for building old school hot rods. Miss Linda Vaughn, First Lady of Auto Racing. This is the article on her, showing her, sexy woman. And Sox and Martin, showing the products they use, hooker headers and so on and so forth. But you know, you get to the meat and potatoes. You know, it's all the show cars. There's Bob Hope's golf cart. You know, it's built one off, custom for him. And then here's all the zingers. And it shows you each one with that van is so cool. You guys let me know down in the comments if you have any of these in your stash or you've got them built in display cases. You know, those were, to me, they were so cool because, you know, the big engines sitting up through them. There's a few more pictures on them. The buggy version with the big blown Hemi in the back. The dragster one. Yeah, this is just basically built by an artist. That was like, what if, you know? Andy Brazio's hot rod. We've all seen this car. I believe there's even a model of it out there. I could be wrong, but I believe there is. Yeah, and this is what I liked. There was model car ads in these magazines. Yeah, that's a company I don't recall, but if any of you got this in your stash or have seen this kit, you know, let me know down in the comments. You know, Sticks and Slicks. That's really kind of cool. It's like an old wagon and a big fuel barrel up here, covered wagon with stars on it, parachute behind it. I did have a couple funny cars that had these plastic parachutes. You'd run string down to the car, and you set it back, and it would keep the string taut or tight. And just, you know, more articles on everything. Shifters, all the sexy girls that would be put in the ads to get you to buy the parts. You know, thinking, you know, hey, if I buy these parts, you know, I can get a sexy girl like that to stand next to my car or what have you. They have pictures of car shows, new cars. These are all like plaques for car shows. I'll name off a few. Best Rod and Show Award, Most Outstanding Custom Award, Best Paint Award, Champion Award for Best Engine Competition, Most Popular Car in Show by Spectator Vote Award, Popular Hot Rodding, Best Restored Car Award. You know, just a slew of them showing what they looked like in that time. And then we get back into the show cars. And the girls that would stand next to them. Here's a trike. There's another one. Pretty cool. I don't know if that's a 26 or 27 T sedan. I don't know if it says. This hand-built mail truck is another far-out Barris. Yeah, it's George Barris creation. Power is supplied by a highly modified flathead engine with Krager wheels to keep things rolling. They're really simple, to the point on their description of these cars. Looks like the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang car. I haven't read it yet. Built by George Barris. Built for the new TV series, The Bearcats. Well, it looked like a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang car to me. Let's see. And then we jump into like Holley ads. The Holley 4165 spread bore. Great carburetor, by the way. It had its own little issues, but overall it was a great, strong carburetor. I had one of these. I got it from a swap meet. This is what I put on my Chevelle. And the difference was amazing, especially in throttle response from the old Rochester, you know, quadrajet junk. Some more kind of like what's the word? Concept cars, show cars. We've all seen this car. An ad for the Goodyear Polyglass tires for the it looks like a 71 Mustang 70 series, or that's a 71, maybe a 70. 70 series tires, 60s and 70s series tires. Barracuda. Shows you how they did all the custom body work, paint jobs. I really like these paint jobs. I'm planning on venturing out and trying a few of them. I don't want to use decals. I'd rather try to mask it off and paint it. There's the Mickey Thompson's Mach 1. Just a cool car. I've seen that one in person. There's another Zinger with a semi and the trailer behind it. I mean, these are cool. I mean, they would take up a lot of space to own this. If you want to, in today's world, you could craft them pretty easily. It's just space. Here's the Musi cart. Looks like, I don't know what year Willys that is. Somebody can let me know down in the comments. Cool. A great source of information right there, just in the picture. to add your detail. That looks like a 26 or 27 T. Yeah, it's a T sedan. I don't know what year it is. But great hot rod. Great hot rod material. Here's a model car. Looks like this was scratch built out of just some nuts and bolts and metal pieces. This trike down here at the bottom. Another little Maverick. It's got a Hot Rod Magazine decal on it. Project car. It's Hot Rod's project car. A lot of you guys have probably seen that one. I love when they did that. I look forward to those articles. Their projects they would build and then take it to the drag strip and race them. Got some classics in here. Nothing spectacular. Trying to see if there's something super popular we would have all probably seen. And here's Auto Worlds. You know, their models. Advertising. Look at that, $11 for these things. The GP models. Those were so highly detailed back then. I did have a couple. Of course, they went by the wayside. Slot cars, you know, HO slot car racing, 132nd home, club racing, new truck kits. So that was really cool to find these in these magazines. So not only that, you get inspiration. There's a model somebody built of a 55. Look at the rear end on that. The modifying they did back then. This is 72, so that was built before that. It was probably built back in 70, 71. And the custom work that was in that thing. It's not chopped or anything, it's channeled. But they definitely added a lot of work to the rear end of that car. So here's some of those futuristic kits. Mini bikes. Yeah, that was a kit by MPC, the 55 Chevy. Won Best in Show at the Seattle show in 72. Don't know who the builder. Tom Gilbert. Anybody know Tom Gilbert? That was his. His made it into his magazine. I personally don't know him. I don't think I've ever heard of him. And here's MPC model contest. Photos of it. Look how many. We think Acme is big and ruly. And could you imagine going to that show back in 72? Look at that. Look how many people were at this show. Acme was almost like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. They had 4 tables. So about the same as Acme. Just it looks like it's a lot more crowded than the Acme show. But holy crap, even back then, it shows you how our hobby is, you know, progressed. Some more show rods, nothing spectacular. I'm trying to find some ones that we're all familiar with. I haven't looked at this magazine since probably the early 80s. There's one. The Red Baron. Great picture for inspiration if you got that kit and you're going to build it. I mean, you can actually see some of the finer details. It's black and white, which makes it harder, but you know, there's other great pictures out there of that car in color. Almost definitely, we've all seen that one. Cool. Yeah, all these are customs. Then we get back into ads. More pictures from car shows. I thought that was the Monkeys car for a minute, but it's not. Cool GTO. Kind of looks like a, I don't know what, stretched out, chopped. Got the headers coming out through the fenders, run down the sides, lake pipes. Big blower sticking through the hood. Definitely modified. into a custom. NPC, here's all the NPC dragsters that were released that year. See? NPC. Record Breakers. The Record Breakers, that was the theme for it. This is, you know, another typical way of getting your inspiration or how you pick. You know, you see a car in a magazine, and then you're like, okay, so it's time to gather up all my parts, the kit, the paint, materials I'm going to need, and so on and so forth. And that was a great way to get your inspiration back then. One of my favorite mufflers back then, Thrush, or this, what is it, Stereo. They sounded so good. And we had an old hack. If you had these Thrush or even cherry bombs, we'd go to the local lake after we got them on, and we'd back down the boat ramp and into the water. Just enough, get water up inside of them. They get super hot and they blow apart the baffles inside. And then you just rev it up real hard and it'd blow all the junk straight out the back. And they just got super loud. And then if you got pulled over by the cops, they'd always look up underneath there to see if you had mufflers on your car. And they saw you had mufflers, like, okay, you know, just don't be over revving the engine or anything like that to keep the noise down. They wouldn't say nothing to you. And then I guess they got wise and then they started finding people. This second magazine that we're going to cover real quick. The front cover has come off and the back cover has come off, but I still have both of them. The magazine is yellowed a lot. I just got these out of storage probably about a month ago, and been kind of waiting and seeing how I wanted to play this out. And then Matthew did the video, and it kind of, I was like, well, I just don't have enough time. The video would be too long, so we kind of just saved it. There's, you know, Hirsch shifters. You know, I saw that ad, and like when I was old enough, I started looking into Hirsch shifters, because, you know, you hear everything about Hirsch, you're like, ah, it's the best, it's the best. You know, and I ended up, my uncle put a Hirsch dual gate shifter into my 64 Cutlass on the 2-speed Power Glide. It had a reverse valve body, so that shifter worked ideal for that setup. You know, probably not so much today, but it did then. We're going to jump there. This magazine is kind of the same. There's a picture of Butch Lael's Duster in here. A bunch of rail funny cars, rail dragsters. Barry Setzer, his Camaro. And then this is from Mr. Mark Batson. Even Hot Rod magazines had NASCAR information in them. Here's the, I think this is the one he's building right now. 7172 Charger. Great pictures. Historic, all the information. This is a really highly detailed article on the car. You can even see Richard Petty coming up from behind, giving him a little nudge. Yeah. Rubbing is racing. But just a super article in here, and the pages are falling apart. And maybe if this page is part of this page, I would have to tear it apart. I would love to send this to Mr. Batson to have in his collection, because this is authentic. You know, it's from that era, that time, and that's a nice little piece of history to put in a picture frame up in his modeling room. I know he's, you know, super NASCAR fan, especially Richard Petty. And, you know, him having his NASCAR license and everything else. It's a nice little memento to put up in your room. So I will probably carefully pull these pages apart and get them sent off to him. So if you're watching this, Mark, look for it in the next couple weeks to be headed your way. I want to take my time. I don't want to damage the magazine more. I want to try to do it carefully. I'm not sentimentally held to this. The main book, yes, but not that article. So I'm not attached to it anyways. But there's just other great little articles in these magazines about the Keystone Classics. You know, everybody loved them when they came out. My 69 Olds 442 had Keystones on it. I had 50s in the back, and I think I had 70s in the front. Or Yeah, and then I had a set of tires in the trunk. I take it to the drag strip, and I swap them out for the 4-inch wheels. I think they were Keystones also. Well, they may have been a different set. I hated it, but going down the drag strip would take a lot of weight off the front of the car. And I had Lakewood traction or ladder bars in the back. It had the W27 rear end in it. We had extra sets of gears for it. I had the 455 in it. It ran a single 4. The car was blue and silver. It had the Hurst badging on it, the Hurst shifter, 4-speed. I don't remember all the details about the car. I traded one hot rod I had, a project car, for that car. And we plan on building a replica of that car also, as I did my 64. I've always had a fascination for Olds cutlasses, all years. Not so much the 66 and 67 because they were land yachts. They were still cool in their own right, just not as, trendy. Stereotapes and advertisement for that. Cassettes were coming out, so you get your 8-track or your cassette or reel-to-reel tapes. Those were so popular. Lakewood bell housings, traction bars. Back then you could get any 8 stereotapes. This is one of those Columbia House. You get for $2.86. 8 different cassettes or 8 tracks or reel-to-reels for $2.86. And then you had to buy one every month or whatever the catch was. Here's an ad for the brand new Baldwin Motion Phase 3 SS454 Motion Camaro. It's kind of cartoonish, but badass car. Of course, it wouldn't be a magazine if you didn't have bodybuilders in there trying to sell you their steroids and everything else. Advertisements for Super Meats, 1972. Anson Automotive Engineering. I like to say it's a family member, but they spell it different. Wind. We all know Wind intakes. Tunnel ram. The high ram single 4s. Great intakes. Both my Olds ran Offenhausers. It was just what was available to me. For the 64 Olds, I had a Offenhauser dual 4 setup. For the 69, I had a Offenhauser single 4. I obtained them both at the same time. Put one up. I was going to use it just to put back on the car to run on the street, but we ended up building the engine so much that that intake was just not enough, air and fuel flow through it to feed the engine. But I did keep the intake, and then when I got the 69, me and a buddy put that on one weekend, and that carburetor, we talked about that 4165 Holly, we put that on there, and oh boy, what a difference. Being everything kind of brand new, I guess it wouldn't matter too much, but it made a world of difference in takeoff and mid-range power in the car. Again, I hope you like these. I know a lot of guys, especially like Papa's Model Car Room, he shows a lot of vintage pictures and magazines, but this is where Rusty Rotor got his inspiration back in the day. Now it's a world of technology. You have the internet, you have social media, even better magazines. So you have, we've got the encyclopedia at our fingertips for anything we want to build. And it's just a matter of what inspires you at the moment and drives you to pick the kit. Is it the CUDA funny car? So you go buy the CUDA funny car, you try to find the decals, or you do all the masking yourself and paint it appropriately. Highly detail the engine, the chassis, so on and so forth. Back in the day, they didn't have all that detailing stuff, which, most of my viewers are older, are well aware of. You young pups, young guys, no offense, just your younger generation. You've had, since the mid-'80s, I've had a little bit better variety of the detail stuff because it had started coming out. Your photo etch stuff, your wires that could be used. Back in the day, we wired up an engine. We used thread. We used anything tiny we could find to represent whatever we were building. And I've seen a lot of clean builds and beautiful use, your mother's or your wife's string thread to run plug wires. I've seen guys take them and dip them in, what do you call it? It's a like dope that you would use for balsa wood airplanes. When you put the tissue paper on it, they would dip that string down in the dope, and it would make it more pliable and tighten it up. So as it's drying, then you could paint it. So there was techniques back then, just as there are now, to achieve the final outcome of your build. So again, what inspires Rusty Rotor? It was magazines. It was things in person that I would see and photographs that I would take. And then, the hunt would begin to find the model kit that would be suitable to use, or if the actual one existed, that made everything a lot better. I could build a closer representation. The same thought process goes into what I do today, is what I'm getting at. It's just on a different level of information. You have the internet, you have social media, so I can see these cars more vividly, the detail more vividly, and I can be more accurate at what I'm doing. Again, it falls back on other topics we touched on. If it doesn't exist in the 3D world or aftermarket world or photo etch, your choice is to scratch build it. And that in itself is rewarding because you're taking the time. Even if you don't succeed the first time, it's nothing, because it's not that you messed up a kit part. It's just some plastic that you sculpted or carved away or sanded away to try to represent the part. It's easy to start over without the feeling of, oh, I just destroyed this kit. So, you have all those aspects: photo etch, scratch building, aftermarket parts, photo etch. It goes on and on and on. There's so many different things. Resin casting to replicate parts. That's more in itself of replicating. 3D realm is more in design. Designing something that didn't exist in the aftermarket world, but now you can achieve getting it for your build to be more realistic on your build. So that kind of wraps up our chapter and kind of brings it full circle around on kind of everything we've been talking about, other than my rants. Quick update here. There'll be a video Friday. Like I said, I don't know what time it'll come out. I start working with my brother tomorrow. I don't know what all that's going to entail. I got some doctor appointments coming up here this month. We have Thanksgiving, so there's not going to be a lot done here in the shop. I do have a little work done on the 32, a little work done on the NASCAR build, and I've started on the EV charger. So we'll kind of touch base on all those come Friday. Meanwhile, I think the only other day I'm going to get to work in the shop here is on Wednesday, because I don't work for my brother on therapy days. It's just I'm too worn out and too much pain afterwards. So, as usual, guys, I thank you to all my subscribers. Over the weekend, we jumped way up again, which is great. We're like in 780 almost, give or take a few. I'm expecting that to fall way down again. We play that back and forth game. Hopefully we can just keep growing. I don't even care if it's slow. Just keep growing. So, tell all your friends. Maybe they've not heard of my channel. If you like, what I'm babbling about and what I show you, definitely, give that subscription, hit that bell notification so you know when the videos come out. Your thumbs up, your thumbs down, drop your comments down below. My email is always down below, so you can contact me via email. I respond to everyone, as long as it's on the premises of modeling and just common talk. I've been getting flooded with a lot of bizarre emails. If I can't understand the language, and I don't recognize the person, I will not respond to those. Just so you know in advance. Kind of try to start your email off of "Hi Rick, watch your channel." That'll get my attention, and I'll look at the email. If it's in a foreign language that I can't translate or look at, I kind of blow by those. Not any disregard to those people that took the time, but my experience is those are never really good, and I'm not going to fall into a scam or anything else. Mark at Hobby Nut Models, thank you for him for sending the EV Charger. I'm not EV Charger, with the 32 Roadster. This is a great kit. Just a heads up, I did change the route. The roots blown 429 was a no-go. I don't want to get into a lot of modifying on this kit for several reasons. Time, what I'd have to do to adapt that engine to that car. It would be great, and if time had allowed, I could have tinkered with it a little more and got it to work. But seeing as how well the kit is made itself, how detailed it is, we've kind of decided we're going with the it's a Chevy engine. I don't know why these guys can't keep a Ford engine in a Ford car, but small block Chevys were cheaper to build than the small block Fords, and small block Fords have their own issues. Main bearings would cave in or give out on them. They couldn't hold up to high RPMs. There's a whole lot of issues with them, and I get the Chevy. So we've got the engine together. We got it over here in the paint booth. That's today's plans, is getting the engine painted, and we got a lot of the other details laid out. We are opening the trunk. Since we couldn't fit the big engine in there, we are opening the trunk. I am adding the rumble seat to the trunk, so we'll have the full interior detail. We are changing the engine up a little bit. I've got to size down the big block intake to a small block intake, and we're going to run a tunnel ram with all the detail on it, the full linkages, return springs, everything we can put on it, we're going to put on it. And we're still not going to run the hood. We still are adding the aluminum parts to the front rail, the rear rail, the hood support rails. Those will all be real aluminum. The drive shaft is fairly highly detailed. I still may incorporate an aluminum drive shaft into that. The moon tank, we've got all the chrome in the back here stripping. It's been in there for about 2 days. It's about halfway done. It's just, I like to do a slower process. That way I can kind of monitor it and see what's coming off, how it's coming off, and all that. The fast stuff works really well too, but I'm a slow guy on that kind of stuff. I like it to marinate and take its time and get in there and get all the chrome out. So we're kind of at a standstill, not at a standstill. We're kind of ready to start putting some stuff in the primer on the 32. EV Charger, we've started sanding. We thank Joel at Iceman Collections. Just heads up, remember 11/11 to 11/20 is your time frame to get that kit. He does restock every week. I've had some people email me saying they got theirs. Awesome. I appreciate that, and you're not going to be sorry. It's a beautiful kit. It's a must-have for your stash or your collection, even if you never build it. So, get over there and get your copy of it while you can. Remember, capital R, lowercase USTY, 10. That gets you 10% on his webpage, web store, not eBay, web store. And then I think for the rest of the month, it'll get you 10% off other things as well, from what I understand from him. And if nothing more, sign up for his monthly newsletter. Drops out the first of every month. You get some great discounts and deals within that just itself, and some heads up on what's coming out. So make sure you get sign up for that. Same as Mark at Hobby Nut Models. His link's always down below. Go check it out. Pick you up something that helps getting stuff to the channel. When we get the new stuff in from Mark, this is stuff that I've bought. This is for Gastronite's diorama. We will show the kits. We're not going to open them, but we are going to show the additions to Gastronite's, and this will be all of them. We will have obtained every piece we need, other than building the diorama itself that everything's going to sit on. And of course, we got to build the kits. Most of those are going to be box stock, with the exception of one. This is one that will be on the ramp truck. It'll be about 80% scratch built. So, we are putting a little something extra into the diorama. A lot of landscaping and building and, all that. So, and then adding all the figures. So it's going to be a pretty in-depth diorama, as Ghostbusters and the garage and gas station diorama. So, hit those notifications so you guys know when these videos are coming out, because I'm crazy. I'm all over the place. You never know. Had a super weekend with my granddaughter, Lila Bug. She's my #1 viewer. She probably isn't, but to me she is. We had an excellent visit. She stayed with us for the whole weekend. I love having them around. It brings back a lot of memories when your own kids were little, and how you kind of sit back and admired the things they do and how advanced they are, and watching them struggle a little bit, but then figuring it out for themselves. It's a great thing to be able to view with your own eyes, and family means more to me than anything. So, it was an awesome weekend. I thank my son and my daughter-in-law for letting us have her for the weekend. I hope they had a nice weekend away, got recharged for the week, and we look forward to the next visit when little Miss Lila Bug comes to stay with Mimi and Pawpaw. And, we have another granddaughter. She's 5. She's in kindergarten. And she lives with us right now until our daughter's done with college. And it's every day is something new with her. A new experience, a new way of viewing something through her eyes that she found fascinating or interesting. And that's cool. I'm going to miss that when they do move out. And, she's been here since she's been born. So it's second nature that she's just here. So I know a lot of you guys are grandparents. Some of you may be great-grandparents, or just new parents. Cherish it, because it doesn't last long. They grow faster than what you think, and they become smarter than you in a very short period of time. Take the time out of your day to listen to them, and get their point of view on things when they're old enough to communicate at that level, because it greatly helps. Especially through their life as they grow. This isn't a parenting lecture, but it's just something I've learned myself. My kids still amaze me every day by what they do and how they handle things. And it's rewarding as a parent to know that they are able to do that with very, very little help from me, or their mother, or anybody else. They've got an emotional partner in life, wife, girlfriend, whatever it may be, boyfriend. They got somebody to turn to, first and foremost, and then they always have us. So it's nice, and all that kind of all rolls into my modeling. That's my passions, my love for the hobby, how my mind works. On these kind of things, I see something, I get so inspired about it, and then my passion kicks in, and that's what drives me like full tilt. And I'm not whole or complete until I achieve, how I viewed it, and that would be getting my source of information, my inspiration itself, achieving the kit, all the parts I need to get it as close as I can. So, to wrap this up, that's what drives me. That's what, inspires me to do what I do. And that kind of closes our chapter out on, a full circle of detailing what parts, do you use them? Do you like them? What do you use, type of thing. So Mental Mondays from here on out are going to be fully blown, just straight up crap out of my head, and anything that I can think of in between. So, 5 months now we've been going on this topic. It started off as being the worst video. And I thank all of you out there for making it my #1 video. This is the most watched video of what I do, is Mental Mondays. And I thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch it. Hopefully some of this helps you, inspires you, gives you some ideas. You think it's crap. The rapport is really good. I appreciate all that. And we will keep Mental Mondays going until otherwise. So, this is Rusty Rotor. You guys have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you on Friday. Or unless something else jumps up between now and then. I don't foresee it. So, Friday. This is Rusty Rotor. I'm out.